Hello, YouTube. Recording now, and in today's episode we're going to learn if statements, and we're going to learn select case, and heck, we'll probably learn some other things, but those two I think are pretty damn important. Annotation right here if you didn't see the first episode, otherwise you're going to be lost. So yeah, alright. So let's say we have an input that is supposed to give us, make something of value. Okay, so let's have a variable. Oh, right. Let me explain this. You can have variables, say a equal to a function, or a command. So a equals input. So what a basically is whatever you input when prompted. So we're going to assume that a is an integer. Well, we're going to make a an integer. Yeah, there we go. So if a no if a is greater than 2, then something happens. Now, whenever you start an if, you must put an end if, because that's how it is. Now, maybe we should have other statements, so else if, and then let's put else right here too. So else if is, so let's say else if, hold on, a is equal to 2. Else if a is equal to 2, then have something happen, so I don't know, print amazing. Amazing! And else is different from else's in the manner that else is basically just default whatever happens if it doesn't meet anything else, any of these other expectations. If it doesn't meet any of these other guidelines, then it'll go to the else statement. So else let's put another else if statement. Check for whether or not a is less than 2. Okay, so if then could be tacked onto the else if statement as well, but you don't need to, so don't even bother with that, I figure. Oh, heck, let's have another else if statement. No, let's not. Let's not say we did. But we did not, so. Alright. Now, note how I made indents right here. This is not necessary. You could just have it like this. Whoops. You don't have to have indents. You could have it all munched up like that, but that looks ugly. It's easier to read it if you indent. So, to indent, you press tab. Alright. But you could also have this all one line. But we're not going to do that because that's hard to read. No one has time for that. So, let's do this. What is a worth? So a is worth 6. I don't know. It's like, okay, that's really stupid. I can't believe you wrote that. Whoops. Oops, I wrote the wrong thing. There we go. So we're going to call this if statements. So what's a worth? A is worth 6. So it's like, okay, wow, that's really flipping amazing. So it said that because a is greater than 2. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Let's do it again. Let's say it's 2. Amazing! absolutely amazing, but it's not absolutely fantastic because it's not less than 2. So if we make it -5, then it'll say absolutely fantastic. So that's that. So, you notice how your answer goes right after that? That looks a little sloppy, right? So, you could do that. It look a little bit nicer, so it says, as you can see, there's a space. But what about if we want it on the next line? Well, if we want it on the next line, then we would get rid of that, okay? And maybe put a print statement prior to that. So let's try that. Whoops. Oh, that's right. You need those parentheses. Actually, hold on. Yeah, see? Okay, so you have to have those parentheses in if you're going to have player or user input. Otherwise, if you're just going to have it like this, or just whatever. Yeah, that's a weird quirk about BlitzBasic or BlitzPlus, whatever you want to call it. It's a weird quirk about it. So what is A worth? Let's say it is worth 69. We'll be like, okay, that's really amazing. I can't believe you would say something like that, you bugger. So okay, let's make another thing. Let's do, let's teach you how to make random numbers. Okay, let me zoom back in. Random numbers, because those are cool. Okay, so to make a random number, it's really simple actually, but it requires a bit more than you think. So this is to create a random integer, so there's no reason to make random text. So they don't have a function for random text, which would be cool if they did actually, but no. And what do you put in these parentheses? The numbers to choose A from. So let's put 1 through 10. And then have it print A. Input that so we can see it. Nice. Great, so let's do that. So it says 5. Now watch closely. It says 5. It says 5. It'll always say 5 because although this is a random number chosen from 1 through 10, it will be the same random number every time because there is no what they call a seed. If you play Minecraft, you may know what a seed is, or may have heard of it. A seed is basically by which things are generated. That's a really weird way to describe it. Okay, a seed is like a pool. No, and you can only get the water from that pool. No, that's terrible. I don't know how to describe it. Just think of it like this. SeedRnd millisecs. Millisecs. Wow. Millisecs. No. Okay. Pretend you never heard that or read that. That was stupid. So, SeedRnd millisecs. I'm not joking. That's what it is. So, this sets a seed, a random seed, but what do we set it from? Milliseconds. So, what does this mean? Okay, basically, your computer time, you know how your computer keeps track of the time, right? It says it's 8:56 right now, p.m., but that's not all it keeps track of. It doesn't just keep track of the hours and minutes, it also keeps track of seconds and then milliseconds. So, this chooses from the millisecond at that point in time. And when it is read, it chooses a millisecond from that time. And whatever that millisecond is, somehow it involves that in the seed and blah 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 blah. So this will allow us to get different numbers on every time. So it says 5, coincidentally. It says, whoops, I must have did something wrong. Probably that. Yep, 6. There we go, yeah. Okay, when in doubt, just put these right after your function or command, whatever it's called. Right after your yellow text. Put this thing, okay? Put these damn parentheses. Because you make everything so much more confusing. Okay, so let's teach you about select case. Select case is like is like an if statement. An if, else if, end if, whatever. It's like that, but it's slightly different. So for select case, we just select a variable. Select, and then we have an end command, end select. Now, the different thing about this is you can't put in greater than or less than symbols. Instead, you just select case just assumes that everything is equal to something. So case basically means if equal to, and it'll always mean that. It will never mean not equal to or greater than or equal to. It will not. Never. Ever. Okay. Okay, so we're going to make a case statement for every possible outcome right here. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do it for 5 of them because no one has time for that. Just no one has time for that. So, like your if statements, it's case or if equals to, essentially, we're going to have it do something. So, print, that is flipping amazing. So I'm going to pause this while I write in all these silly things. Alright, so we're back with this, and... oh, I forgot that parenthesis. Never leave parentheses unclosed. So if you, like, had this parenthesis off, it would probably crash and burn. Yeah, see? It's like, oh, you need that. So, yeah. And you may think that those errors showing up is great, I suppose, but... oh, look at that. Okay. Alright, so let's make this select case. Alright, so it says... okay, so we got a 2 up here, and it said, what? And then down here, it caused us to print whatever A is. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You're like, yay! Whatever. Yeah, but these random variables, very helpful they would be for games. Very helpful. You want to have random stuff in your games, right? You don't want to have the same enemy attack every time, or the same... you don't want to pick up the same weapon or stuff. Okay. So, what else was I going to do? Oh, I thought I'd... okay.